Very good evening. So, shall we start our session now?
Okay.
Yeah. So, in our last session, we discussed about IAS, Identity Authentication Service. We discussed about IAS in our last session, and we configured it. We configure identity provider. Okay. We configure identity provider, and then we created administrator users in IAS, and we also created business users, and then we also created groups in IAS, and we mapped those groups with IAG roles in BTP. Okay, and then we assign those roles, we assign those groups to the users in IAS, and the users were able to access to IAG. Right, that was the session we had in our last session. And hope you have no confusion. If you have any doubts or queries regarding last session, you can ask me. Any queries
Uh,
of last session?
in IAS, which provider you are configured, Shahid?
I configured the custom identity provider. Okay.
Okay.
So what we need to do is, just let me have a overview of that. What we did is, so under the security section, we have trust configuration. Okay. And in the trust configuration, we need to download the metadata of your sub account for which IAG is assigned. Okay. Downloaded this, and then just go to IAS, log into the IAS. In IAS, you need to create the application. Okay. You need to create the application. We have created one application. This is the application I have created. Okay. After creating the application, you just need to go to the SML configuration. You need to browse the metadata file that we have downloaded here in BTP sub account. And along with that, once you have uploaded, what we need to do is we just need to configure a few of the attributes. I have configured one attribute groups, and the other attributes were the default attributes. Okay. That I did. Along with that, I also define this uh, subject name identifier, which is the default one, and the default one is the user ID, which you don't need to change. And after that, what you need to do is you need to go to the tenant settings. Okay. Under the tenant settings, you will again have the SML configuration. Here you are going to download the metadata file of IAS, and then you need to upload that metadata file of IAS in BTP sub account. Okay, this configuration we have done in our last session, and after that we created, anyhow, before we created the application, we also discussed about the administrator users and the authorizations of the administrator users. Okay, we discussed about all these authorizations. These are the administrator users, and these users are given for the administrative task in IAS. And then we discussed about the users. We created the business users. Okay, and then we created the application. And after that, you need to create the groups. Okay, so whatever the groups we create here, those groups you need to map with the role collections of IAG that we have done. Okay, this is what the custom identity provider. I'll show you now. Okay, role collection mapping.
Here
So these
you
are
said
the,
groups.
yeah, sorry,
Sorry, groups. You created some groups. Those
yeah,
groups are collective of roles or collective of users.
no, these groups I have created here in IAS, and these groups I map with the role collections of IAS. Understood.
Okay,
And
got it.
now, when I assign these groups to the users in IAS, so the users will get the access to the IAG. These are the IAG groups. Understood.
Okay,
These
got
are
it.
the IAG groups. Okay. So, any doubts, any queries here? If you have any doubts, you can ask me.
Okay, Shahid, I have one doubt. Where we go and download the metadata file in IAS? Where is the option?
I
Is that
just
under
have shown
application
you just now.
resources?
Okay. You need to go to the tenant settings. Under the tenant settings, you will have SML 2.0 configurations.
Ah,
Just
okay.
download it. That's it. Download here. Then go to your sub account and go to the security section. This is the security section. Under the security section, go to trust configuration. And in the trust configuration, create a new trust and then upload the metadata file that you have downloaded here. Got it.
here in the security section, the trust configuration, here we need to provide the IAS
Details.
URL,
Yes,
right?
yes. No, we don't need to provide. Yeah, see, we don't need to provide everything. Will be collected from here only, from this download metadata file.
Okay.
It's a vice versa, right, Shahid? We are doing here actually in.
Shahid, I have a question.
Yeah.
So you create a custom identity provider is different than SML.
Sorry.
Right now you have customer identity provider which you created.
Yeah.
But then you also created the SML too. That would be a third identity provider.
No, where SML I have created? This is the
last time you
SML.
did.
See, the protocol I used for creating this custom identity provider is SML. Understood?
Okay.
So we can either use SML or we can also use OpenID Connect. For this OpenID Connect,
so what is the best practice? SML?
SML.
Okay.
SML. The advantage I'll tell you anyhow. I just wanted to show you this OpenID connection as well, but it can have only one identity provider, only one custom identity provider if you are using the OpenID Connect. Understood? For OpenID Connect, let's see what happens. Anyhow, you don't need to do anything for OpenID Connect. Automatically, it will take everything. Okay. See here, these are the domains I can see. EU2. This is the one. Okay. I need to check. Just hold for a moment. We have hold for a moment. This is the one. Okay. So next, automatically it will collect the domain name and everything. Click on next. Okay. It will collect everything. You don't need to do anything. Okay. Click on next. Okay. Review and finish. So that the custom identity provider is created. Sorry, custom identity provider is created, and what it is. Let's see what happens now. I'll explain about this error. Okay, so we already have one default, right? Default, and now one more will also be created, which will be a custom identity provider with this IAS. That is fine. Okay, now with this OpenID Connect, what generally happens is you can have only one custom identity provider. You cannot have multiple custom identity provider. See here, you can't add a second trust configuration to the same identity authentication tenant. Migrate existing SML configuration to OpenID Connect instead. See here, this is existing SML. This is the existing SML. Understood? Okay. So it is asking migrate the existing SML configuration to OpenID Connect instead. That's it. So what I can do is I just need to delete this so that I can create one OpenID Connect custom identity provider. The protocol of the custom identity provider will be OpenID Connect. Okay, but I can't have more than one custom identity provider. I can only maintain one with this OpenID Connect. And when it comes to the OpenID Connect, you also don't need to perform any configuration in this IAS. Understood? Automatically, it will collect all the details which we have seen, right? So we just need to see. Okay, here I can see two domains. Generally, we should have one. So yeah, we should have only one, but someone might have created as I have given full access. So this is ours. Okay. Next, again, I am showing you everything it will collect automatically. Okay, everything it will collect. Just click on next. It will collect all the required details. Okay, that's it. You don't need to perform any configuration. This is called OpenID Connect protocol for the trust configuration, and a custom identity provider is created. Okay, but you can't add one more custom identity provider. That is the restriction we have with the OpenID Connect. Okay, is this clear?
Shahid,
Yeah.
I have a question. What is the purpose of identity provider? Is it to get the authentication only?
It is not only the authentication. You can also authenticate. This is for custom identity provider is for authentication and authorization. As we have seen our last session, we can understand it will also authenticate your identity. Along with the authentication, it will also authorize your functionalities in the application in which you are trying to log in, right? In which you are trying to perform the activities. Along with that, you can also configure single sign-on. Okay, and the purpose of custom identity provider is what? You, when it comes to the cloud applications, in cloud applications you are not going to create the users. You will not have a separate user management concept in the cloud application. For few of the applications you can also create it, but for many applications you don't have that concept. You need to either provide the authentication and authorization through SAP BTP, okay, through SAP default, as we discussed about what is SAP default, or you need to maintain your own custom identity provider. Even in our last session, we discussed the purpose of custom identity provider. Now you have an organization and you are into banking sector. Would you maintain your all users' data in some other identity provider? It is not possible. It is possible, of course it is possible, but there is a security concern as well. So you would like to maintain your identities in your own identity provider. You don't want to maintain your identities in others identity provider. That is the concept. Okay, anyhow, we'll start our session now. So hope everything is clear. And so all the screenshots I have maintained here, and I'll be also sharing this PPT. Okay. So we have seen how we can configure identity provider, how we can authenticate, how we can assign the authorizations for a particular application, and that we have seen for IAG, right? So when we assign a group in IAS for a particular user, that user can access to the IAG application. Okay, that is fine. So when it comes to the IAG application, what is the purpose of the IAG application? The purpose of the IAG application is to perform risk analysis. Okay, not only the risk analysis, we have number of functionalities. We can perform risk analysis, we can perform mitigations, we can also create the business rules, we have emergency access, right? Firefighter concept we have, and we also have the user provisioning, right? But where we are going to connect, where we are going to for which users, understood, for which users, where we are going to provision the identities. Okay, so we need to have the application, right? We are going to connect to some of the applications. We must have some applications for IAG to perform the IAG operations. The operations could be risk analysis, could be mitigation, could be role creation, or it could be firefighter access, anything. So we need to have systems, right? So it could be the cloud applications, or it could be the on-premise application. But how you are going to connect to the on-premise application, or even to the cloud application? We must have an integration technology to connect to those applications, right? The concept is what? Now we also need to connect and communicate with other applications. How we are going to connect and communicate with other application? And coming to the application could be the cloud application, and it could also be the on-premise applications. Like we have ECC is the on-premise application. Yes, for HANA we have on-premise application. Yes, for HANA we have cloud application. We have Ariba cloud application. We have Fieldglass cloud application. Okay, these are the cloud applications, and we also have the on-premise applications as we have discussed. So how we are going to integrate? So coming to the integration, we have three methods of the integration. Okay, the first one is the direct integration, and then we have IPS proxy, and then we have cloud connector. Okay, coming to the direct integration, when SAP started the cloud, okay, it was HANA Cloud. Hope you know about HANA Cloud. Now the name got changed to BTP, Business Technology Platform. When they started the cloud platform, they named it as HCO, HANA Cloud. Okay, now it has been renamed as BTP, and still this HANA Cloud is used. The terminology is still used, which refers to the BTP. Okay, so what we were discussing, okay, so direct integration. Coming to the direct integration, you can also integrate directly without any mediator in BTP platform or BTP platform application. So in the beginning, it was the direct integration, but later what? Even though, for example, we have Ariba, we can directly integrate with the Ariba from any of the cloud SAP BTP cloud application, and we can also integrate with Fieldglass direct integration without any mediator. But still, there are some disadvantages of the direct integration that again we will discuss when we start the direct integration. I'll also show you how we can integrate with the cloud applications. And the second method we have is IPS proxy. So IPS proxy is what we are going to integrate the cloud applications. Okay, we are going to integrate cloud application not directly through IPS. Okay, identity provisioning service. Here in this IPS is going to act as just a mediator. Understood? It is going to act as a mediator. Any functionality you perform, for example, from IAG to Ariba. Let's take the example of IAG to Ariba. So now I want to provision an identity from IAG to Ariba. So we will execute the functionality here. Okay. Then it will be initiated by the IPS proxy, and IPS proxy will provision the identity in the Ariba. Okay. Just an example I am giving you. Again, we will discuss about this IPS proxy in more detail. Okay. So, we'll discuss that in more detail. So IPS proxy will act as a mediator. Yeah.
One question. What exactly do you mean by proxy? It's a I mean, I
Proxy
still
is
don't know.
nothing but whatever the instructions you are giving it to the component called IPS or the application called IPS, that will do your job. Understood? I want one identity to be provisioned in Ariba. So we need to configure the IPS. I will show you how we can configure. Okay, you will anyhow you are going to perform all the activities in the IAG itself. So the request will be initiated, and the request goes to the IPS proxy, and the IPS proxy will provision your identity. Understood? Again, we are not going to discuss that here now. Understood? We don't discuss that in detail. Anyhow, we have a separate session for the IPS. We'll have around 2 to 3 hours of session for IPS. There we'll discuss in more detail. Got it, Manpreet? Okay. And the third one is cloud connector.
Yes.
So coming to the cloud connector, now coming to the direct integration IPS proxy, these we are using for the cloud applications. But coming to the on-premise application, how you are going to integrate on-premise application? We have number of on-premise applications, right? So in order to integrate on-premise application, we need to have cloud connector. Wherever your application is installed, for example, S4 HANA on-premise, I'll show you today. Okay. So we have S4 HANA on-premise, and wherever you have your application, there we need to install the cloud connector. Okay. So after installing the cloud connector, we need to perform few configurations. Okay, we need to define the details of your on-premise application in the cloud connector. Where the cloud connector is hosted? The cloud connector is hosted on-premise where your application is installed, where your S4 HANA is installed, where your ECC is installed. There only you need to have the cloud connector. Okay, so there we need to define all your S4 HANA on-premise system details, and those details we need to define in BTP. That I'll be showing you in today's session. Okay, in today's session we are going to integrate on-premise application, and on-premise application integration is possible only through the cloud connector. Okay. Okay, let's see what is cloud connector. SAP cloud connector serve as the link between on-demand application. It is not on-demand, on-premise application. On-premise application in SAP Business Technology Platform, and okay, right. So on-demand application in SAP Business Technology Platform and existing on-premise system. So it serves as the mediator between your SAP Business Technology Platform applications and your on-premise system. Understood? It is what? A mediator or a link between the BTP applications and your on-premise application. The cloud connector runs as an on-premise agent in secured network and acts as reverse invoke proxy between the on-premise network and the SAP BTP. So you are going to bring the data of the on-premise system through this cloud connector, and you are also going to send the data from the BTP application to on-premise application through this cloud connector. Understood? So we have two-way communication. So we are going to bring the data from the cloud application into SAP BTP applications, and we are also sending the data. We are sending the message from cloud application to the on-premise through this cloud connector. Understood? Cloud connector is an application that can be installed on Windows, Linux, Mac OS operating systems. So it will support these operating systems. Now let's log into cloud application, cloud connector. You can access cloud connector through web browser. Okay. Cloud connector login. Okay. So now I actually installed the cloud connector on this host where I logged in. Okay. See here, start cloud connector, stop cloud connector. Currently cloud connector is started. Okay. And the installation of the cloud connector is generally done by the basis team, but it's very simple. Okay. You just need to download. Okay. You will have an exe file. You just need to click on it, and then you need to define the path where it has to be installed, and it will be done, finished. Once the installation is done, the URL to access the cloud connector is the local host, or if you are in the same network, you can also define the IP address. If you are on the same network, this is my IP address. Got it. I am able to access. I can either use localhost 8443 is the default port for accessing the cloud connector, or you can also use the the IP address if you are on the same network. Okay, same network of the on-premise application. Okay, so then click on advanced. Now proceed. And the default user ID for cloud connector is administrator, and the default password is manage. The default password is manage. Okay. Any doubts here? How to access cloud connector?
So this cloud connector got installed in it's supposed to get installed. Where it is supposed to get installed actually, Shahid?
See, I'm accessing now 192.168.0.18. Okay. And coming to all the systems I have is on the same network. Okay. So we are going to integrate with S4 HANA. So this is the IP address. 192.168.0 is what? The same network. The IP address is different. It means the cloud connector has to be on the same network where your on-premise applications are installed. Understood? Riyaz. Or you can also install on the same host. Now this is my S4 HANA host. Okay. You can also install on this host if you want. Is this clear, Riyaz?
Okay, so we can install on any either S4 HANA or any other on-premises BW for HANA.
Yeah.
Wherever it is under the on-premises system.
Yeah.
We can install any system in our landscape, on-premises landscape. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't need to install on S4.
Not only in that particular host.
S4
you
system,
can install it
S4
anywhere.
system, GRC system.
Yeah.
You can install anywhere in your landscape. So that's it.
Here, this is my different system. I haven't installed this on either S4 HANA or ECC or GRC, but in the same landscape, in the same network. Understood, Riyaz?
Okay, got it. As long as it's in the same network, doesn't matter where we install.
Yeah, on your personal computer also you can install.
Yeah.
If you have.
Okay.
Office system.
Office system, same landscape. Okay. Even see those who are having.
Shahid, I have a doubt here.
Yeah.
So like this cloud connector is a separate thing which we need to do it, or else like who will be configuring this in some
Basis
like if I
team
wanted
will
to do
install the cloud connector.
Okay, so if for the practice purpose, how we need to do it?
See, you don't need to install cloud connector anyhow. This is the cloud connector. Okay, I downloaded. Okay. So this is the cloud connector I downloaded.
Okay.
Little little older. Simple. Anyhow, it is now already installed. So now it is asking to uninstall. But if it is not installed, you just click on next. General application, how we install general applications, you need to click on next. It will ask you to define the path. Let me check the path. I believe it is installed in program files.
I mean to say, like, Shahid, if I can install in my local computer and I can able to access the remote desktop, I can able to configure in that way, or else we
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
use the same.
that's a question here. I just don't want to get you confused. You can
Yeah.
also, use the applications of the other network. It is not mandatory that it has to be on the same landscape or in the same network. You can also add my systems out of my network or out of my landscape, but that has to be defined in your router or in your SAP router. Hope you know the SAP router concept. If
Yeah,
you
correct.
configure SAP, that is little, basis, kind of acting. I can explain you. I worked on it, but I don't want you to get confused. If your system is accessible outside of the network, then you can also install in your personal lap. You can install Cloud Connector in your personal laptop, okay, and you can add it. How it is possible, how we can access the SAP application out of the network, you need to configure SAP router. You know that. If you know that
Yeah,
concept, you can understand. Okay,
yeah,
got it. See
got it.
now,
Yeah, got it.
whatever the application I am able to accessing now, adding these details, these are the local IPs, right? So these local IPs you cannot access in your system. You might be in this. You might be in some place now, which is out of which is out of this network. How could you
Yes, correct.
access? For that, you need to have SAP router. You need to
Yeah,
configure SAP router. After you configure the SAP router, you can also access the SAP application out of the network. Understood? That is little
okay,
different concept. Don't get confused.
okay,
Okay, because this IP will be mapped with the public IP. Once it is mapped
okay,
with the public IP, using that public IP, you can add the on-premise system in your cloud connector. Okay, that's simple.
okay,
Okay, right.
okay. Got it.
Okay.
And last question, like, we'll be getting the access for this as well, right? What you
Yeah,
mentioned.
I'll be providing you the system access and cloud connector access. Anyhow, as I said,
Perfect.
the user ID is the administrator. I just simply logged in now. I'll show you again.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
sure.
See here,
Thank you.
uh, the the URL to access the cloud connector is HTTPS localhost 8443, or this is the IP where I install this cloud connector, and the user ID is administrator. Okay, and the password is manage. The default password is manage. You can also change the password. Okay. Okay, this is fine now. So how we are going to add the on-premise systems in the cloud connector? Before we add, what we generally need to do is we need to define, we need the sub account for any of the cloud connector access or any of the application you define in cloud connector. First, you need to add your BTP sub account in the cloud connector. That I'll be showing you now. Okay, this is what the global account of the BTP. Under this global account, we have one sub account, that is IMR Technologies, for which we have subscribed SAP IAG application. Okay, after you get into the subdirectory, you will have the sub account ID. This sub account ID is required to add, because we are going to integrate the on-premise system with this sub account. Understood? Got it? How we are going to integrate? We are integrating those on-premise applications with this sub account. Okay. So now what I need to do is, first we need to add the sub account. This is the first process when you access the cloud connector. Okay, if it is a new cloud connector, the first thing is that you need to add your sub account. Okay, so you need to select the region of the sub account. Let's see here, we will get all the details. I'm showing you again. Just click on your sub account. You will get all the required details in the sub account. General, under general section, you will get all these details. These details now need to be provided in the cloud connector. Okay, now it is asking the region. The region of my sub account is US East VA. You can also type US East. Okay, this is the one. And you also need to verify whether it is AWS, cloud service provider is AWS or Azure or some other cloud provider, cloud identity provider, cloud provider, cloud access. See, this is cloud service provider, sorry. So our cloud service provider is AWS, Amazon Web Services. So what you need to check the region along with cloud service provider, that is AWS. So we have two here, AWS and Azure. Select this and then you need to define your sub account ID. This is the sub account ID. Okay. Add it. Display name, you can define any name. I'm defining it as BTP IAG, and login email ID I need to provide. Okay. See here, I logged in to this sub account with this email ID. Hope there is no confusion here. Okay. Done. I also need to provide the password. It has to authenticate your sub account. Okay. Location ID is very important.
Shahid, your screen got stuck for me. I'm not sure whether it's okay.
Is it stuck for all? I'm typing password now.
So you have to refresh on your side.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah, I can
Hold
see
for a
now.
moment. Yeah. Hold for a moment. Let me pass screen sharing.
No, this is good from your side, Shahid. No issue.
Is this okay now? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So now can you see the cloud connector where I'm adding the sub account details? Can you see now?
Yeah, we can see
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I
we
have no
can
issue.
see.
Yeah.
We can see, yeah.
So what I did is I collected the information of the region along with cloud service provider. Our cloud service provider is AWS that I define here. Okay, I define here. You will get the list. Then you need to define the sub account ID. I collected the sub account ID from here. Okay, and after that you need to define the display name, and you need to define your login email by which you are able to access your sub account. This is my user email ID. Okay, and then I also need to provide the password because it has to authenticate. Then the location ID, so I'm just defining it as BTP IAG. I am defining. Okay, description I can define anything. Okay, now let's save. What happens, we'll see. The sub account already added or employed for disaster recovery. I already added this sub account. Understood? Because I needed to configure. So I already added. I just wanted to show you how we can add the sub account in Cloud Connector. Is this clear now? Are any confusions here?
We are good, Shahid.
Jagdish, Vamshi, Manpreet, is everything clear?
I'm okay. Understood.
Yeah, I'm seeing.
So these are the details you need to provide once it is added. Okay, once it is added, from where you can collect the sub accounts. See here, I can see number of sub accounts. There are many guys who have added their sub accounts here. So let me check where my sub account is. Okay, I need to use this filter option. Let me collect the sub account ID. Okay, copy this. Okay, what happened? I don't know. Okay, there might be space. Right, this is my sub account which I added. Understood? Before this session. So anyhow, yeah, please. So these all are the sub accounts available now in this cloud connector. You can also add your sub account. Okay. Sorry. Anyhow, we have only one. Sub account for this access. But if you have, just to test and to do some hands-on for adding sub account, you have your trial accounts, right? You can also add your trial account. Okay. Now I will select the sub account that I have added. Okay, this is my sub account. You will also find the list of all of available sub accounts. Okay, so ours is, let me paste, this is IAG on premise. Where is our IAG on premise? Somewhere I just checked. This is the one. Select your sub account. Okay, this is my sub account. So after you select your sub account from the list of available sub accounts, what you need to do is, this is the name. So now these are the details we have. Now click on cloud to on-premise. Okay, just you need to click on cloud to on-premise. I'll show you again. Navigation is little difficult in the beginning. Okay, password is manage. Done. This is our sub account. Once you have selected the sub account, at the left side, you will have, this is our sub account. Okay, in cloud connector, and then you will have the option cloud to on-premise. Select cloud to on-premise. Got it. Now we need to add the on-premise system in the cloud connector. Okay, is everything clear as of now? And now what we are going to do is, this is our on-premise system S4 HANA 2023. We are now going to integrate with this on-premise application. I'll show you all the details of the on-premise application. So the backend type is ABAP. Okay, the backend type is ABAP. We have different, the on-premise applications: SAP HANA Application Server Java, SAP Composition Environment, SAP Business Connector, SAP PI Process Integration, SAP Gateway, other SAP systems. Even you can integrate non-SAP applications as well, non-SAP on-premise applications. And coming to ours, it is ABAP system. Click on next. Okay, the protocols we have is HTTP, HTTPS, RFC, RFC underscore SNC. So when it comes to ABAP, you can use the two protocols. One is the HTTP and the other one is RFC. Again, in HTTP we have HTTP secured. This is the secured one. This is what? Non-secured one. This is RFC. This is SNC. Hope you know about SNC, right? So we use RFC or HTTP. Anyhow, when it comes to IAG application, we are going to bring the data of S4 HANA into IAG, and then we are going to provision the identities from IAG to what we call it is S4 HANA system. Okay, when HTTP and HTTPS is used, if it is ABAP system, when you have the requirement of OData services, again, some additional knowledge I'm giving you here. So if you are doing some OData integrations and all that, in that case, you can also use HTTP and HTTPS. That also I'll show you. Let's go with RFC now. Okay, protocol is RFC. I'll show you again from the beginning. Just click on cloud to on-premise. Then you will be in access control, then cookies, domain, applications, principal propagation. These are the options you will have. So under access control, you just click on add button. Then you need to select the backend type, ABAP system. Then click on next. I'm using now RFC. Click on next. So we have two options: connection type, load balancing, without load balancing. So I'll use this without load balancing, application server and instance. Okay. Click on next. Now we need to provide the details of the application server, that is your S4 HANA system, S4 HANA on-premise system. See here, this is the IP address of the application server, and this is the instance number. These are the two details we need to provide. And the instance number is 01. Okay. Okay. As Jagdish asked me, can I do it from my laptop? Can I install Cloud Connector in my laptop? And can I add the SAP system in the Cloud Connector from outside of the network? In that case, you need to define the SAP router details. Got it? Okay. Okay. So click on next. Now, virtual application server. It is recommended to use a virtual name that is different from the internal name. This is the actual name. Okay. You can either provide the host name or the IP address, instance number. Next option, you will have virtual application server, virtual instance number. These are the details we have to define in BTP sub account. Understood? Those details, how you are going to integrate, these are the details you need to define in BTP sub account. So you can provide any name, whatever the name you define here, that you need to define in BTP sub account. I'm defining it as S4 HANA system. Any name I can define. Okay, let me define S4 HANA, S4 HANA sys. Anyhow, instance number also, if I want, I can change it. Okay, I can define as 10. Anything, or I can also continue with the same one. Okay, click on next. Next, now check the internal host. So if I select this, now it will verify whether it is able to communicate with this system. We can also check this once we finish it. Okay, so what virtual name we have defined? This is the virtual name, S4 HANA sys, and these are what the message server details, which we will discuss while defining the details of the system in BTP. Okay, this is the actual the host name and the application instance number. So now I can see the status. It is reachable. Okay, see here. You can test, you can check whether it is reachable or not. It is reachable, right? It is reachable. Got it? Now, what you need to do is, along with this, you also need to define the resources of S4 HANA sys. I'll explain about the resources now. See here, we need to provide the resource is what? RFC read table, RFC underscore read table. I'll tell you what is this. RFC underscore read underscore table. Okay, so this I'm going to use as the exact name. Okay, description I can provide anything, but let me define the same one. Save now. Once I save, okay, let me cancel this. As of now, the status is different. Once I add the resource for this system, save now. Got it. It is now in square shape. We need to define the resource of the system. What is this resource? Function name. When it comes to RFC communication, we'll have function group, right? And we'll also have function module. Hope you know that, right? I'll show you. Anyhow, we also need to create the RFC user, and the RFC authorization used is yes underscore RFC authorization object. And under yes underscore RFC authorization object, you will have function module and function group. So you are already the security experts. You all are the security experts. So this function module and function group defines what you can collect from my system. Understood? What you can collect, the authorizations for the RFC user, whether you can collect only the user data or a particular application data, what you can collect, that we can define in yes underscore RFC authorization object. So for our purpose, for our integration, this is the function name required. Along with this, yes underscore RFC underscore read underscore table, we also need to define SIAG prefix, that is the function name in RFC.
So Shahid, these are the default ones we need to define.
Yes, these are the default one. I'm defining now. Okay, I will show you this in the system so that you will understand what these are. Okay, you will have RFC type and name. Got it? Function, group, and function module. Now, see here now. Function module I am going to select. Let's see. Okay, we are here, right? Okay. So the function name, got it. So I am defining it as prefix, naming policy as prefix. So whatever it comes with SIAG, we are allowing it to our user, communication user. Got it? You can find here all the details. SIAG, access log, it can collect the access log, remove privilege access user session, get transaction log, get transaction usage count, privilege access management, get authorization object for a profile. So whatever the authorizations required for the RFC user, that we are defining. Understood? Hope you got some idea now, right? Is this clear?
Yeah.
So prefix, anything comes with SIAG, we are allowing it to the user. Okay? Not only SIAG, we are also allowing RFC underscore read underscore table. So the communication user should be able to read RFC underscore read underscore table. Got it? Okay. Let me provide, as these are the training systems, so we don't mind to provide full access. Save it. Okay. Let it be. We also need to add some other authorizations. Is it not generated? Okay. Done. Okay. So is this clear how we can add on-premise system in cloud connector? Any confusions here? The steps we have performed is, okay, add sub account in the cloud connector. What details
So
we
you
need to
created a
provide?
role actually, but you did not assign to any ID there. What is you're supposed to assign to some
Sorry,
ID there?
can you come again?
Role got
Your
created
voice is
in
very
this
low,
one.
Riaz. Yeah, Riaz.
Is it good now? So We created the role but not assigned to any user ID, and where are we?
Yeah, that we have to do. The next job we have to do is, I'll show you that. Okay, now we need to create the destination. Anyhow, we'll do that after a break. I'll show you all these steps. There we need to define. What we have done here in the cloud connector, we define the host system, S4 HANA application, instance number. Okay, and what we did is function names. It means for this connection, these two functions are allowed. Later, when we add this system details in SAP BTP sub account, we also need to provide the user details. In that, there we'll create a user. Okay, we'll also provide the role we created now, and then we will test how it is communicating from BTP sub account to your on-premise through cloud connector. Got it? Riaz, is this clear?
Yeah,
Okay.
now I got it.
Okay. So the steps what we have performed is where we are. Okay. So cloud connector overview. We need to add the sub account in the cloud connector. So what details are required while adding the sub account in the cloud connector is you need to have the details of your sub account. Okay. What details you need to provide? The region and the cloud service provider and your sub account along with your email ID of your sub account and password. Got it? Is this clear?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So after that, what we need to do, we need to click on cloud to on-premise. Okay. Then add, select ABAP system, select, the RFC. Then next with load balancing. Okay. I have one more system. I'll show you again so that we'll have two systems. This is one more system I have. It is a GRC system, but we'll treat it as ABAP system only. Okay. Instance number, let me check the instance number. Okay, 00 instance number. Next, I can provide any detail, any name. Okay, I'm defining it as ERP system. Okay, I'll continue with the same. These are very important: virtual application server and virtual instance number that we need to define while creating the destination in BTP sub account. Next, okay, ERP system. Next, finish. Where is our ERP system? This is our ERP system. I also need to define, RFC read underscore table. Okay. Along with this, I also need to define SAP IAG prefix. Done? Okay. So now these details we are going to define in BTP sub account. Under BTP sub account, we need to go to the destinations and we have to create the destination. Okay. That we will see after a break. Okay. Shall we have 10 minutes break now? Okay.
So, Shahid bhai, the S4 HANA system and the GRC system are in the same domain of the BTP.
Same domain means?
Like we are not using the router, right? What I'm trying to say,
we are not using the router. Router when it is required, if you have this cloud connector in some different location, right? Yes.
Correct. So now we are using in the same
wherever these systems are available. Okay. There only I install the cloud connector.
Got it. So
this has to be up and running. Again, this has to be up and running always. Cloud connector. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I have one doubt. The IP address same for all on-prem system is fine, but some system where different IP address means we need to have different cloud connector.
You can define that. They might be allowing. See, I can map this local IP with the public IP. In that case, you can use the public IP, Anand Raj.
Public IP.
Okay. Any PUBC. Now, if you add these details in your GUI, you cannot access my system. You need to come to this remote desktop system and access this. But if you want these systems to be available in public IP, then I need to map this local IP with the public IP, and using that you can also access it. Understood? Again, I don't want you to get confused. If you have really good understanding, you ask me, I can give you the complete answer. I can clear your doubt. Any address, Anand Raj, any IP address you are providing here in the application server, that you can add in the cloud connector if you are on the same network. If you are outside of the network, you try it. This IP has to be mapped with the public IP. Currently, I am using the local IPs. I map few of the local IPs with the public IP. For example, when it comes to my S4 HANA system, I map this local IP with public IP as well. Using that public IP, you can add that system in any of the cloud connector. Now, Riaz is in Canada, right? He can now access he can install cloud connector on his laptop and access my system. Depends on the system's availability. Understood?
Yeah, but anyhow, in real time,
Yes,
In real time, you will have VPN, right? You are not allowing the real time systems to be accessed outside of the network. Why do we allow?
Yeah, so there's no confusion. Simple.
Right? Simple concept. These are training systems, so I made it available even to the public IP. But in real time, no, we don't allow. You need to be in the network. For that, we'll use VPN. Okay, is this clear?
Okay. Yeah, clear.
Yeah, please. Let's
And
have a
one
break.
more,
Yeah, please.
no, one more doubt. See, actually, already we have GIS system, right? What is the advantage of this cloud connected to on-prem system? What is the
Your voice is very low. Let me. Yeah.
no, what is the advantage of this like cloud? This, for example, already I have a GRC on-prem system already connected to SAP many other system. What is the purpose of to create from cloud to on-prem system? What is the advantage of?
Why you are using IAG? You need to provide the services. You need to perform risk analysis for your on-premise applications. So in order to perform risk analysis to your on-premise application, how you are going to connect? Understood?
See, configuration is fine, Sakit. My doubt is, my question is, what is the advantage of this one? Because already we have SAP GRC system, right?
Okay. Now you are asking what is the advantage of IAG over GRC, right?
Correct, exactly. Yeah,
That
correct.
we discussed for around 2 to 3 hours in our first and second session. Got it?
Okay, let me
You
go
need
through
to
that.
watch it. Again, I can't, see. Now, most of the on-premise systems are migrating to the cloud, right? And GRC
Got
is
it.
not having the capability to communicate with all the cloud applications. There are many cloud applications now available, right? Most of the
Got it.
on-premise applications are being migrated to the cloud applications. Coming to GRC can only provide the services to the on-premise application, so it can't provide the full functionalities to the cloud applications. So in order to replace the GRC, SAP has introduced IAG. IAG is a cloud application which can provide the functionalities to cloud application along with on-premise application. Understood? Where
Okay.
GRC
Thanks.
can't perform all the functionalities of you know uh, can't perform all the functionalities of GRC compliance functionalities with all the cloud applications. It can perform only with on-premise applications, right? Got it,
Got
Anand
it,
Raj.
Sakit. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
okay, okay.
And Anand, your original question was actually why did we creating cloud connector? Is that the question?
No. His question
No,
is
no.
why we use this BTP and IAG instead of GRC. That was his.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks, sir.
okay. Then let's have a break now for 10 minutes, and then we'll continue our session. Thank you. Let me stop this recording. I can.
This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, I am back now. So shall we continue our session?
We can continue also.
Yeah. Hope you all are available now. Hello. Hello. Vamshi, Jagdish, Misbah, Riaz, Manpreet, are you there?
Yeah, Jagdish here. I'm there.
Manpreet, Raj.
I'm here. I'm busy with. Okay, I'm here.
Okay. So shall we continue now? Okay. So before we go into BTP section, BTP and add the system, what I'll show you now, I'll show you one more, protocol that is HTTPS. As of now, we used RFC. Okay. How we can add system in cloud connector using HTTP protocol. It's very simple. ABAP system. Okay. You can either use HTTP or HTTPS. Host name I need to provide now. Okay. I'll show you again from the beginning. Add system. So backend type ABAP system, and the protocol we are going to use HTTP. Next, host name. Okay. Now I need to provide the port number. So how can I get the port? So you can go to SMICM. In SMICM you can find the port details. SMICM. Click on services. You will get the port details. 8443 is the port here. Okay. So let me add that here. 8443. Next, virtual host. I'm defining it as S4 HANA. S4 HANA. S4 HANA HT I'm defining. Okay. And this is the port. Virtual port I can use anything. Okay. Either the same. Even virtual host also I can use the same. Understood. But it should not be, IP address. So I'm defining a name. Next. Okay. So I'm using the default one. Next, use host in request header, virtual host. Next, S4 HANA HTTP. Okay. Next, finish. S4 HANA HTTP. Let's see whether it is reachable or not. Not reachable. Then, what could be the issue? I'll tell you. I'm deleting this, or you can also change it, because this is what this is HTTPS port. Understood. I haven't defined any port for the HTTP. Okay, I'll also show you. Generally, this is done by the basis team. If it is not defined, you can define one port, 800. 8001 I'm defining now for HTTP. Okay, 8001 for HTTP now. And here we used it as HTTP, and the port we have used HTTPS. So I'm using 8001 now. Hope it works. Let's see. Reachable. Got it. Is this clear now? So we know how we can add system using two different protocols. One is the HTTP and the other one is the RFC. Right? Is this clear? And when it comes to HTTP, we add the OData path. Understood? Any OData. I'm defining slash. So you know about OData, right? So if you go to SACF services, you will have the OData services by slash. Just I'm defining slash. So it will collect anything which comes under this slash. Anyhow, all your data services under this slash, just save. Got it. Is this clear now? I can also,
So previously, Shahid, you connected using basically RFC.
yeah.
Now you are showing through connecting HTTP service
Yeah,
basically.
that's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Why we use
So
RFC? Why we use HTTP? Because
HTTP especially for the OData services.
yeah, exactly.
So it has a Fiori.
Yeah.
But whereas RFC, is it mandatory to create both?
For which one? HTTP.
No, HTTP and RFC, like we created the both.
In RFC, we don't have port concept. Understood. We need to provide application server name. We need to provide instance number. Here, we need to provide application server name, and we need to provide the HTTP port. There, we need to provide instance number. Here, we need to provide HTTP port. Understood. Simple.
Why we are doing both? Can't we do only one? Is sufficient.
Yeah, it is sufficient. Just showing you the two available
Okay.
options. Understood.
Got it.
It
It is
might
for
be
our
used.
option.
It might be used for some other applications. Anyhow, in IAG, we are not going to use the OData. Understood. We are not going to perform, but showing you the two available protocols for adding your on-premise system.
Okay, it is
Okay.
for our learning purpose. Got
Yeah,
it.
learning purpose. I can now also add HTTPS. Now this time I need to provide 8443. Earlier for HTTP I gave 8001. For HTTPS I can provide now 8443. Just for HANA HTTPS port 8443. Okay, sorry. This is what the host name, either host name or IP address. I'm directly using IP address. Next, 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 finish. Okay.
Shahid,
Yeah, please.
for HTTP, you given the port number 8443. You can change that one. HTTP, not
For HTTP, I gave 8001.
virtual. You can give anything. It's going
Yeah.
to.
Okay. But why 8443 is not working now? Let me check. 8443 has to work actually.
Maybe you don't provide the host name, internal host.
Yeah. But just let me
give
check
them.
this
You
Fiori
have to.
Launchpad.
You given the host name instead of IP address.
Okay.
You can give either one. That
Okay.
maybe not resolving.
Where that is?
Yeah, you have to virtual. Yeah, this one IP address only. Yeah, you're right.
Is port only.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
Right. Okay. Somewhere, there could be an issue with this HTTPS. Okay. So I might need to disable this HTTP here in the system. Understood. I might need to disable this. It might take one, either HTTP or HTTPS, but HTTP is working fine. So now HTTP.
No, you can have both. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
we can have both, but again, troubleshooting will take little time.
Okay.
So we can proceed with adding this cloud connector details into the BTP. But anyhow, no problem. Let's see. We can troubleshoot, not a problem. So let me go and delete this HTTPS. Okay, I'll do it from the beginning so that there won't be any confusions here. ABAP system. Next, I'm using now HTTPS. Next, host name 192.168.0.33. Or I can also give 8443 is working fine. I might need to provide fully qualified domain name, I believe. Let's see. 8443. Next, I'll use the same host name. Don't change. I'm not changing any. This for HANA HTTPS. Next, finish. Okay, where it is? Yes, for HANA. This one, I believe, right? Yeah. Let me check. Yes, for HANA HTTPS description. Yeah. So let's see whether it is able to connect. Not reachable. Need to check. Or sometimes depends on the host file also. It matters. Okay. Or I can see. Okay. It should communicate. Double 43 internal host. Save now. Not reachable.
We can't see anywhere log file. What is the error message log on this one? If you go to security, scroll down. logs and last one, logs and trace file. That is connector, nothing to do with this.
Here on the connector.
No. You can. I don't see anywhere.
Critical system mapping, critical trust configuration required. HTTP 80 is used with different protocol. The system mapping of sub account. This is fine. Okay, that is because HTTP is a little critical. Okay, HTTPS. Okay, it is for a different system. I believe the port might be used in some other systems as well. It could be the issue that it might be used in some other systems as well.
Remove from HTTP. Go to the HTTP connection. S4.
This is the HTTP, right?
Yeah, edit.
It was mentioned somewhere I only can use only one at a time, either HTTP
Oh.
or HTTPS. Is that something like that?
No.
Wait, I'll check. Somewhere we are making a mistake. So let me use Kerberos. Okay, hope it works now. No. Let me remove this. I'll try it again. Or now, let me provide fully
Shahid, in HTTP also virtual port showing as 8443.
Yes.
virtual port does not matter. Any port we can provide.
Yeah, anything we can give them.
We can
But
also
still
give
it's
our
a
own name.
Confusion for us, but you can use any.
Okay, got it.
We can provide our name as well.
I think
No problem.
HTTPS start with
I'll
the
try it again.
443 instance number, I think.
I'll try again. No problem. I'm giving IP address now instead of host name. Okay. 8443. Next, here I am giving S4 HANA HTTPS. Okay, I can provide any name. Okay.
No.
Okay. Right. Not the strict usage. We need to select this general usage. I believe it will work now. Next, finish. Where is that? This is the one, I believe. Not reachable. Why?
But Shahid, let's concentrate on our thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Deviating somebody.
Yeah. No problem. So I'll show you this again. Don't worry. I'll troubleshoot and I'll show you. Okay. So what we have done as of now is we discuss about the cloud connector, how we can access the cloud connector, and how to add the sub account in cloud connector. So when it comes to the adding sub account in cloud connector, we need to provide the cloud connector ID and the region of the cloud connector and the login email ID and password. Okay, those are the details we need to provide. Done. That is done. Then we added system using RFC protocol. So while adding the system in the cloud connector as RFC protocol, we need to provide the host name and the instance number, which is the application server. Okay, that we have done it successfully. Now next one is we need to add this system in SAP BTP sub account. Let's log into SAP BTP sub account. This is our sub account. This is the global account. And then let me go to the sub account. Under the sub account, okay, what we need to do is we need to go to the destinations. Okay, now create destination. Okay, here in the destination, we need to select the type as RFC. Okay, we need to select the type as RFC. I'll show you again. So we access sub account, and then we need to go under the section of connectivity. For IAS configuration, under security section, we have trust configuration, and coming to the application integration, okay, that is, cloud application, on-premise application, sorry, not cloud, on-premise application. What we are doing, we are getting into the section of connectivity. Under connectivity, we have destination. So now click on create destination. So we need to now select the type RFC. Now provide any name. You can provide any name. Okay. There is no naming convention required here, but I'll use S4 HANA CLNT 100. Anything we can provide, okay, but I'm defining it as S4 H CLNT 100. Done. Then the description, I can provide any description here. S4.
So here, shall we are connecting to S4 HANA
Yeah.
from IAG?
That's
right. So even we need to connect same for BW for HANA.
Yeah.
Same thing if you have other system like that. Okay.
That's correct. That's correct. So that's correct. Yes, description, you can provide any description. On-premise, okay. So we are now, the proxy type is on-premise. Now we need to create a user ID and we need to provide the user, RFC user we need to create now, okay. So what I do now is, let me go to the system and we'll create one user here, RFC user. As we discussed, we also need to provide some authorizations, okay. I'm creating one user, issue 01, okay, RFC BTP, okay. I'm using a technical user. Hope you all know this technical user in S4 HANA. It's a new functionality. Simple. Okay. When you create a technical user, you will not have address tab. Okay. I got this query in one of the interviews. Okay. Difference while creating, whether you can create it as technical or you can also create direct user, but you will have the address tab when it comes to the direct user. Okay. And when you create technical user, you will not get the tab address. Okay. Anyhow, for technical,
this functionality like in only S4 HANA now, it's new.
Only in S4 HANA. That too in since 2022, I believe, version, and our S4 HANA version is 2023, which is the latest one. So I'm using the communication user. Okay. This is
Shahid, we can use a system user, right, instead of a communication here.
Yeah, we can also give the system user, and there is a difference between system user and communication user. Hope you all know that.
Oh yeah.
So both are very much similar. We can use either system or communication, but coming to the communication user, only communication user has the capability to access the HTTPS. We have SACF services, right, in ABAP system. Those services can only be accessible through communication user. It is also one of the interview question. We can use either system or communication in RFC communication, okay, but communication has edge over system user, that it can access the ICF services where system user cannot access the ICF services. What role we created? RFC BTP, right, or something we have created a role, G column. Some rule we have created here just now.
You created Ravi or something like that.
Yeah. R comes before yes, right? Yeah. This is the one we created. Anyhow, I'll provide all the authorizations and I'll explain what authorizations are required, because this is a training system, so we don't have any problem to provide all authorizations. I'll just show you what exact authorizations are required. We have a documentation for this. Okay. I define it in the documentation. These are the authorizations required. Got it. Authorization for RFC user. See here, RFC type activity depends on the function group and the function module. As just now we have seen what is function, SAP IAG we have defined, right? So what access you provide to RFC user, based on that it can collect the data, and along with that we also need to provide RFC ACL authorization. And coming to user provisioning and all that, we need to have yes underscore user underscore GRP, yes underscore user underscore AUTH, and yes underscore user underscore AGR. Okay. PRO, TCD, S underscore T code, S underscore UCON, ADM. These are for IAG access. For IAG, S underscore data set. Okay. This is optional. Okay. Depends on the requirement. These are the optional one. So these are the authorizations required for the IAG user. Okay. These are the authorizations required for IAG user. Done. So what I do is I created RFC user, RFC BTP, and this user type is communication. or I can also use system. Okay, so now let's go to RFC BTP. Done. And the password I define is user is what? RFC BTP, right? This is the password. Okay, and the authorization type, we are going to use principal propagation. That again I'll explain it in the later sessions. Okay, location ID is very important here. Understood? The location ID is very important. See, when we have added the cloud connector, while adding the cloud connector, you need to provide the location ID. Let's see what is the location ID of this system. It is our location ID of our cloud connector. While adding, we need to define it. This is the location ID, IAG on premise. Again, I'll show you this so that you won't get confused here. While adding, sorry, not this, where we are adding, while adding the sub connector, sub account, you need to define the location ID. So that location ID, see here, this is our sub account. While adding the sub account, I define one location ID that we need to define in BTP. This is the location ID. Okay. And now name is S4HCLNT. This is the description. Username, password, alias user is not required. Repository user, this one is also not required. Okay, let's go to the document here. Okay, this we have already defined. Okay, so now location ID, got it. This is very important one that we have defined here in BTP sub account. Now we need to define some additional properties. Okay, new property, and those additional properties I'll show you now. JCO client host, okay, mandatory. System number, mandatory. The other properties are optional, depends on your requirement. I'll explain all these, I'll explain all these properties in detail. So first we'll select JCO client AS host. Yeah, please.
No, nothing, sir. Sorry, go ahead.
JCO client host application server. It is mandatory parameter for on-premise ABAP system. Okay, and what details we need to provide? Here we need to provide the details that we define in cloud connector. Let me go to the cloud connector. Okay, now let me go to the system we have defined, RFC, right? This is the one, right? Okay, so virtual host we define, just explaining you to understand it clearly. Okay, anything I can provide here, I need to provide the IP address here, 3301. This virtual application server details we need to provide here. Understood? Whatever we define here, I can define my name as well. It's not the best practice, just giving you the example. I can define any name here. That name you need to define in JCO client application server AS host property. See here, represents the application server host to be used for configurations on SAP BTP. The property must match virtual host entry in the cloud connector access control configuration. Whatever the virtual host name we define here, that we need to define in this property. Understood? When it comes to our system, we define the virtual host as, virtual host is central s4h.world.com. Okay, is this the one we define? I believe this one we have defined, right? Okay, so this is the virtual host. This we created today. Okay, got it. Any name you define virtual host, that you need to map here. Okay, this is the first parameter which is mandatory, and the second parameter is client number, JCO client, and to which client we are connecting? We are connecting to client 100, right? We created RFC user here in the client 100, right? Client 100. So that we need to define. Okay, you can find this information in the document. Represents the client to be used in ABAP system. So our client is 100, right? Okay, done. Then the third parameter is system number. Okay, while adding the system in cloud connector, okay, while adding the system in the cloud connector, we need to define system number, right? This is instance number is nothing but system number. And again, no need to get confused here. So not the instance number, we need to provide the virtual instance number. Anyhow, when it comes to our system, we define the same instance number. Whatever the actual instance number, even the virtual instance number also we define the same. That I'll show you here. This is the instance number. Understood? 01 is the instance number. Hope you are not getting confused. JCO client system number, okay, 01. Whatever we define as virtual instance number, that we need to define it here. See here, JCO client system number represents the so-called system number and has 2 digits. So it has 01, okay. Then the other 3 parameters, properties for, these are the optional properties, depends on your requirement. You can define, but no problem, we'll define it. Add. Let's select the language. Okay, the language I am defining it as EN, English, and then we have some other parameters. So destination pool capacity represents the maximum number of idle connection kept open by destination, not a mandatory one, so optional, but no problem, we'll add it. This is the one. So maximum connection can be open, idle 5 I can define. And then the other property or parameter we have is peak limit, represents the maximum number of active connections you can create for a destination simultaneously. It means simultaneously you can have 5 connections to the system. Okay, five I can define. Now I need to define the password. Whenever we change anything, the password gets changed as well. So let's see the password. Okay, done. Okay, hope everything is correct. Any name I can provide here. Okay, type is RFC. Description I can provide any name. Proxy type we need to select on-premise. The user is RFC user we created. We need to provide the password as well, and it also required some authorizations. We have discussed those authorizations. And the authentication type, use principal propagation, and then the location ID is mandatory. It will be available in your cloud connector. While adding the sub account in the cloud connector, you need to define the location ID. You can provide any name, but that name is going to be used here. Okay, along with this we need to define 3 mandatory parameters. One is the host, and the host is what? The virtual host we define while adding the system in cloud connector. Any name you can define, any virtual name you can define, but that name you need to define it here. And the client number to which it is going to communicate, and along with that the instance number, application server, it is also called as application server, or system number, or the instance number. These are the 3 mandatory parameters. Okay, everything is fine, right? Let me save now. Okay, so we have successfully created the destination. Okay, now let's check whether it is able to communicate. Yes, superb. Got it. Now it is successfully communicating to on-premise system. Okay. Now let me edit. I'll provide some wrong details. We'll see then what happens. Now save. Just change the location ID. Let's see what happens now. Can it communicate? It cannot communicate any details. The mandatory details. If you give wrong, then it won't communicate. Understood? Okay. Save. If you even give a wrong password. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So is everything clear now? Let me say.
Shahid, I have a query here. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Am I audible?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Oh, sorry. Okay, actually, so in the normal GRC communication, what we do is we can create n number of RFCs with the multiple system IDs, right? With the common, and we can do the configuration. Here also, what my question is, with the same connector ID and the same location ID, can we create multiple RFCs?
Yes, you can do it.
Multiple
You can do it. You can do it.
Okay.
You can do
Got
it. Now, I can.
And you should be doing also, right?
Yeah.
And you should be doing also.
Yeah.
The reason because you might be not be having S4 HANA, you might be having BW for HANA also.
Yeah. That's correct. That's correct. And not only that, different system, even one same system with a different.
Yeah, I mean to say like for same system, multiple different different naming we can
namings
create.
I can do that. Now same S4 HANA I can add with a different name. Okay.
Yeah.
33 instance number 01. Now I can define this as ERP
That's
system.
right.
Understood? Same system, different names, different virtual names, and you can also define those different using the virtual host. You are going to create the destination always. This is what most important one. Virtual host is the important one to communicate. Okay. Let's save now and check the connection. It is able to communicate. Now I'll explain how it is communicating. The concept is very simple. When it is communicating to the on-premise, what it is doing, this destination, which is defined in BTP sub-account, it is going to communicate to your cloud connector. Your cloud connector must be up and running. Understood? So it is going to communicate to your cloud connector. Once it comes to cloud connector, it will go to the virtual host you define here in the parameter JCO client host. So the request comes to cloud connector, it will search here. Okay, this is our virtual host. It communicates here, and this cloud connector will take you to the system you define here. Understood? Is this clear? Hope no confusions here. First, what we did again, we established the communication from cloud connector to on-premise. Okay, cloud connector to on-premise, right? Let me copy this so that it is used always to show you. Okay, so what it does, we establish communication from cloud connector to on-premise, right? So the request comes to the cloud connector. In the cloud connector, okay, it comes to virtual host. It will come to virtual host, okay, and from the virtual host, it will connect to internal host. Then, if it is reachable, then the connection gets successful. Got it? How the communication takes place. Is this clear? Fine.
Yes.
Now, the next one is, we have all the screenshots. Okay. What we have done as of now, we have added the sub account in the cloud connector. While adding the sub account, we need to define the region of your sub account and the sub account ID. Okay. Along with the sub account ID, you also need to provide the email ID by which you are able to log into your sub account, password, and you need to define the location ID. These are the 5 parameters or properties required for adding your sub account. Again, those 5 parameters are what? The region of your sub account ID, your sub account email, password, and the location ID. These 5 parameters are important. After adding the sub account, we added the on-premise system. Okay, so the protocol, the system type is ABAP. The protocol we use RFC, in which we need to define the application server details. It means the host name of your S4 HANA system and instance number, okay, which is also called system number, right? Then we provide the virtual host for the host name of your S4 HANA. We also define the virtual host, which can be given anything. Then we also need to provide the system number, virtual system number. That is done. After that, we added the system in sub account, BTP sub account. While adding the system, what we need to provide, these parameters are the properties we need to provide. You can provide any name here. The name could be anything. Okay, the name could be anything, right? Type should be RFC. Description could be anything. Need to provide RFC user password. This should also have enough authorizations, sufficient authorizations that we have discussed. Okay, principal propagation, location ID is mandatory. Coming to parameters, virtual host is mandatory, client number is mandatory, system number is mandatory. Done. Now the next is we need to define this system in IAG application. Understood? Okay. Let's go to the IAG application now. Instances and subscriptions. Okay. IAG application. Default identity provider. Okay. So now we are in administration section. Here we should have application. Let's go to the application. Application types. Not application types. I believe it is application. Let's see. No, not the application type. It should be applications. So let's see where the applications. This is the applications. Got it. Applications. Okay. Now add application name. I can provide anything. Okay.
Yeah, but let's provide the same thing to not to get confused.
No, it should be a little different. It should not be, but I can provide any name. So I'm defining it as S4 HANA 2023. Okay, any name I can provide. Description I can provide any. S4 HANA 2023. And the application type I need to define. Okay, what is our application type? Our application type is ABAP system. So when it comes to the ABAP system, I can define it as ERP. Understood. Again, we have different applications. See here, we have Microsoft Entra ID, we have SAP Access Control, that is GRC. We have BTP ABAP Environment, Cloud Application, Cloud Platform, SAP Concur, SAP Fieldglass. Okay, we have SAP S4 HANA Cloud, SAP S4 HANA On-Premise. Let's select now because ours is SAP S4 HANA On-Premise now. No problem. This is the one important. This is the important one. So whatever the name we define in BTP sub account, okay, let's go to, we are in IMR Technologies sub account. Under this, you will have the section called connectivity, in which we just have created one destination. Okay, what is the destination name? This is the destination we created, right? Okay, whatever the name you define here in the destination, that has to be defined here in the application. HCP, what is HCP? HANA Cloud Platform. When SAP introduced the cloud platform, it named it as HANA Cloud Platform. Now it got renamed as BTP. Understood? Okay. Now save. Any doubts, queries here? I'm saving it. Got it. Is this clear? Okay. Now, how system is communicating, I'll explain again. No problem. We do one thing. Just hold 5 moments.
In theory, it is connecting to SAP BTP IAG, connecting to BTP, and from BTP to
that's
from
correct.
Cloud Connector back to S/4HANA.
That's correct. That's correct. Okay. Here we are defining system in IAG, but no problem. What I'll do now is let's have a new slide. Okay. See here, top to bottom. Okay. This is our IAG. Okay. SAP IAG. Okay. Then this is BTP destination. SAP BTP, let me define it as destination. Let me define here it as application. I'm using the exact terminology here, application. Then how communication takes place. I'm explaining the process now.
I think BTP sub account, am I right?
SAP BTP sub account destination. Then anyhow destination is created in sub account only, but no problem. Okay, right. Okay, now this is the cloud connector. Cloud connector. In cloud connector, what? Virtual host. Okay, virtual host. And then this is your on-premise system. S4 HANA on-premise system, which is identified by S4 HANA on-premise. How it is going to be identified? By your host name. Now I'm defining the IP address directly as a used IP address in all the names. Got it? So in SAP application, I can provide any name. Okay, I provided what name I provided? Any name I can provide. I have a lot of tabs open. S4 HANA 2023 I define. Okay. So now what it does, whatever the application I define here in the IAG, that comes to SAP BTP sub account. Here in the SAP IAG application, whatever the destination we created in sub account, that we are defining here. Understood? Destination is what? Destination. Whatever the destination here we have defined, we need to define it here. So it will communicate with this destination, and this destination will communicate with the cloud connector. In cloud connector, whatever the virtual host we define, that we need to define in destination. Understood? Okay. And then whatever the virtual host we define, that should have the instance number or application server or the host name of your on-premise. Hope you are getting it. No confusion, right? Any confusions here?
No, it is good. SAP BTP sub account, and from sub account we define actually the cloud connector virtual host. Okay.
Yeah. Then it is going to communicate. This way the communication takes place. Got it? Is everything clear or any confusions here? Whenever you need anything, whenever you are accessing the application, the communication takes place from the application. Application will map with the SAP BTP sub account destination, and this SAP BTP sub account destination is mapped with the cloud connector virtual host, and this virtual host is mapped with the host name of the on-premise system. Is this clear now?
Yes.
Manpreet?
Yeah, Shahid, but we need a better practice for it to get a better understanding.
Coming to this practical, it's very simple. Again, you need to start from bottom, right? So you should have one system. Then in the cloud connector, add ABAP system. Okay, define the host name in system number, and for that host name you need to define the virtual host. Okay, and virtual instance number, and those details you are going to provide in sub account destination, and the sub account destination details you are going to provide in SAP IAG application. Needs little time. You need to spend some time so that this becomes very easy. Okay, I can do this entire process in just 10 minutes, but with the explanation, of course, it takes 3 hours. Okay, so that you should be able to understand. Got it? So now what to do? What's our next job? Our next job is to bring the users of this on-premise system into the SAP IAG. Okay, let's now go to IAG. Okay, we define the application successfully. Again, I'll show you. It's very simple. Click on add button. Need to provide, you can provide any name. Description could be any. Application type, as I have selected S4 HANA on-premise. Ours is S4 HANA on-premise. Then this is what important one. Whatever the destination you have created in BTP sub-account, that you need to define. That we have defined successfully. Okay. Then let's go to what we do in GRC system when we need to bring users, roles, and profiles. What activity we perform, what job we perform.
Synchronization.
Yes.
A repository.
Yeah, we need to perform repository synchronization. Okay. So now let's go to jobs. Okay. Where is the jobs?
What is the tile manage job style is there?
Job scheduler, right? Okay. So we have different types of jobs. I'll be explaining all the types of jobs, but now for this we need to have repository sync. We have different jobs, access analysis. Okay, we have mitigation transfer, we have risk definition sync, usage mapping sync. Okay, business role sync, authorization object sync for SAP ERP and SAP on-premise. Okay, and then we also have repository sync, provisioning. These are the jobs. I'll be explaining about all the jobs in detail. So first I'll now go for this repository sync. Okay, and job name I can provide any S4 HANA repo. Okay, now I need to select the application type. The application type we have defined is S4 HANA on-premise. Select the application that we created now. So we'll get only one system, S4 HANA 2023. Okay, I'll show you again. We are in administration. Okay, under administration we have Fiori app. These are Fiori apps. Understood? Okay, so select the job scheduler app or the tile. Then select the repository sync. Define any name. S4 HANA. I'm defining. Okay, the application type we define for our S4 HANA is S4 HANA on-premise, and the application we created is S4 HANA 2023. Now job start immediately. Yes, or you can also define the recurring jobs. You know all these concepts, right? Schedule job now. Job S4 HANA already scheduled earlier, so I need to change the name. S4 HANA repo 1 schedule now. Okay, the job has been successfully scheduled. Now let's go to the job history. You can also move these. Okay, you can move these tiles from one place to another place. Okay, let me have it here so that both will be nearby. Okay, job history. So what is our job? Our job is repository sync. Let's see. What name I provided? Yes, for
The first one. The first one.
Yeah, this is the
The first one.
Yeah. So yeah, I got it. Yes, for HANA repo 1. Just select the job. You will get the job log completed with error. Okay. Okay. Completed with error. Let's see what is the error. Job schedule log connection ID. Fine. Job name we define as S4 HANA repo was triggered successfully. Control passed. Sync job started. Okay. So this is the issue I am getting. Okay. Sync mode with last chain 1970-0101. So this issue I faced even before our session. I just checked it. Okay. And not before our session. Before few days I did this, as it is a new tenant, right? Recently I have taken this IAG tenant. Okay. So whenever I am configuring and whenever I am running this repository sync, I am getting this error. I spend a lot of time to troubleshoot this issue, but anyhow it was not successful. So I raised a ticket to SAP. Okay, so hopefully I'll get their response today or tomorrow. Okay, so we'll see that why we are getting this error. and this is little strange error. See here, started in incremental sync mode with last change date 1970. Understood? So this is little strange. Somewhere something has to be done. Okay, definitely I'll troubleshoot by the next session. Okay. Anyhow, once the job is successful,
The system date is misplaced somewhere while installing or somewhere in the system where it is.
that is also a point. I just also need to check the system time of this S4 HANA. That could also be one of the reason. But anyhow, I'll also get the response. I just took a screenshot. Okay, send it to SAP uh, for the solution. So this is the time zone I am using. It could be also the time zone issue. Anyhow, will get the response from SAP. So we'll troubleshoot. No worries.
And Shahid bhai, it's supposed to sync to IAS, right? When like from IAS, it's supposed to come
Yes,
to
yes.
IAG, right?
So
Like,
coming to IAS, okay. Coming to IAS, in IAS, wait, we have a separate job. We are not bringing the data from the IAS now at the moment. Okay. We are going to bring the data from the on-premise system.
then
Okay.
then how IAS, how it know what? Okay, got it.
Coming
IAS
to
is only for
IAS, we
authentication.
have a job for IAS. Okay. For IAS also we have a job. So that is, SCI user group sync. Okay. We created some groups, right, in our last session.
Yeah.
Right. So SCI user group sync, it will also bring users and groups from the IAS. Let's see now what happens. IAS sync groups. Schedule job now. Oh, yeah. Okay, job is successfully scheduled. Let's see what happens to this job. Okay. Completed. Job is errored out. Job started successfully transferring location, IDE log collection. Okay, log collection. Okay, okay. So anyhow, it is also giving some error, and it has not provided the detailed one. So anyhow, I will find out why we are not able to run the background jobs, the jobs not the jobs, why we are not able to run the job successfully. I'll anyhow get I'll get it. I'll definitely troubleshoot this issue, and I'll explain you how I troubleshooted, as I also raised a ticket to SAP. Okay, so don't worry for these jobs. Okay, so this is the anyhow this is the job we need to execute for bringing the users and groups from IAS. Understood? For on-premise system, for bringing the users roles and profiles directly from the application to from S4 HANA to IAG, we need to schedule repository sync job, and for IAS users and groups, we need to schedule this SCI user group sync job. Understood? I'll also explain the other jobs in our next session. Okay, I'll find out the solution. Don't worry. Meanwhile, if you have any doubts or queries, whatever we have completed today, you can please ask me. Any queries?
No, but we need to practice a lot to understand this thing.
Yeah, you need to
Easy.
practice. You need to spend time. You need to spend some time. Okay. So anyhow, you have full access for BTP sub account, IAG and IAS. Okay, you have admin access. You can do all these experiments. Do have some hands-on, so that everything becomes easier to understand. Any doubts? Any queries? Raj, Riaz, Jagdish, Ravindra.
Yeah, I'm good, Shahid. Like, we need to have a practice, then only we will get a more queries.
Yeah. Manpreet.
No doubt, sir. If any doubt, maybe we'll teach.
Misbah, any queries here? Ishwar.
Fine for me at this moment. I'll practice and get back to you. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Vamshi?
On good, Shahid, but I need to practice.
Okay.
Can you please ping me the cloud connector link?
Yeah, anyhow, you all have access to my RDP. Okay. So
Yeah.
the URL used for the cloud connector is localhost port is 8443, or you can also use.
No, but Shahid, in RDP, we are not going to, I mean, I don't know about the others. I'm not able to open any browser.
Okay. You might have, the recording access. No problem. I'll also provide you this cloud connector RDP access. Don't worry. Okay. Okay. So shall we wind up the session now?
Yep.
Tomorrow, do we have a session?
No session tomorrow. We'll meet again next weekend.
Yep, thank you.
Meanwhile, if you have any doubts or queries, you can ping me. I'll respond all your doubts and queries.
Sure, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Manpreet, are you there? Manpreet? Okay, then. So see you next weekend. And meanwhile, I'll also upload this recording so you can access it from tomorrow. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.